Hello and welcome to the exciting edition of Jeffrey Show Live. I am your host, Jeffrey Taylor. Woo! And on tonight's edition of Jeffrey Show Live, it is the very first day of April. Woo! We made it through that hellacious March, you guys, but it's not over yet. We're still dealing with COVID-19. It is very serious. Stay at home. We here at Jeffrey Show Live is all about that movement as we find our best solutions during this hard times. The more you guys stay out with these non-essentials, the more we're going to be locked up inside. However, this gives me a great opportunity to find my rhythm and find my scheduling and really get back into my groove with the YouTube video, you guys. I'm going to be doing my first ever AEW Dynamite recap review, you guys, here on the Jeffrey Show Live page. I'm really excited and look forward to finding the rhythm, like I said, and make this a very, very, very steady and regular thing and create a family amongst you all. So, without further ado, you guys, April Fools, I am about to get at it. I'm just playing, you guys. I have too much equipment on me to have a successful April Fool's joke. We're about to get into this show, you guys. So, it was revealed through a bunch of Twitter investigators where AEW was located tonight for Dynamite. It was at the Nightmare Factory here in Norcross, Georgia, which is about 40 minutes if traffic is good. So, shout out to QC Marshall, who's in charge. That's his place. Cody Rhodes have endorsed. So what really gave it away, you guys, was the Green Pastures. I've been there a few times, and it just really sticks out during the training and during the whole factory. So they were here basically in Atlanta, Georgia. They was here in Norcross in Georgia. So the mystery was solved thanks to those Twitter detectives and whatnot. But regardless, they're still putting on a live show for our entertainment, you guys. I personally love it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm entertained by it, but I just wish they would stop. I'm sorry. Like, it just really feels selfish and greedy that they're continuing to do so, but like I said, I'm still going to watch. There's so many other things happening in the United States that's just selfishly continuing while the nation needs to be shut down. But this is not what the video is about, you guys. This video is about the actual show. So we had Kenny Omega, who was not defending the AAA Mega Championship this evening. This was a non-championship matchup, you guys. Kenny Omega kicks off the show against Trent, and Trent is joined to the ring accompanied by Chuck and also the oh-so-popular Orange Cassidy, the best friends, you guys. This match lasted about 20 minutes, you guys. They really gave Trent the time to display how freaking talented he is. It amazes me that Kenny Omega is still not in the main event scene, you guys. Let me guys know why you guys think they are. Well, a lot of people say they already know that Kenny Omega is not in the main event because he's one of the producers. He's a part of the Elite. All of them just don't want to be champions. Although Kenny Omega is currently the tag team champion along with Adam Hangman Page, I just don't see why Kenny Omega isn't in the world title scene. Like, the world title pool should have Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, period. I guess it's working for them, though. Like, you know, that's just my opinion. I guess it's working for them, whatever they're doing with Kenny Omega. It's work, you know. They're almost at 1 million viewerships, if not already on this episode tonight. I think they're at 800K. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, obviously, they're doing something right. Don't get me wrong. They're not doing anything bad. But I just see Kenny Omega just being, like, one of the biggest athletes in AEW, and it's just a crime shame that he's not kind of like portrayed it there yet. Okay, so they were fighting all over the Nightmare Factory at this point, and it's just a brawl. And it's a wrestling contest in the ring, and when it goes on the outside, it's a brawl, and I'm really enjoying it, to be honest. My favorite part of this matchup, and almost was my favorite moment of the matchup, was the power bomb into the pole by Kenny onto Trent. I really enjoyed it. I think the utilization of the poles and the outside was very fun to see. Like I said, I enjoyed the matchup a whole lot. I don't want to say it got a little sloppy towards the end after Orange Cassidy teased a hug along with Chuck and Kenny while Trent was down. That was a little playful fun that we get out of Orange Cassidy being at ringside. Everyone loves him, so it's always good to see him on our screens. But Trent and Kenny had kind of like a little iffy moment towards the finish of the matchup to you guys, but it didn't mess up the match by far. This was definitely one of my favorite matches of the night, if not the best match of the night, to be honest. But basically, Trent took Kenny to the limit, and Kenny was not having it, taking the L, but Kenny can't say that Trent did not put up a hell of a fight this evening, and now Trent is on the scene. He's on the radar. A lot of us already been following Trent for years now, so it's good to see him get that national exposure that, hey, I can wrestle my butt off. One of the matches where I saw that Trent could wrestle his butt off that really caught my attention personally was during his stages with Austin Theory in the Evolve days. Woo! Talk about a little rivalry right there. Whoa! That was some good stuff. Moving along into the show, after Kenny Omega got the win, we saw some sportsmanship between them, and it was just really refreshing to see two athletes put it all on the line and just really like have that mutual respect. We have, and by the way, let me guys know in the comments, do you guys watch wrestling on mute? Do you guys watch wrestling with listening to the commentators, or do you guys watch wrestling mute, and do you guys tweet and talk amongst your friends or talk amongst yourself? Are you guys in the chat room? Or do you guys, is it weird that I watch wrestling on mute? Like, I really don't care to listen to the commentators. And that's not just for AEW Dynamite. That's any wrestling. Like, I just really don't care to listen to the commentators and what's going on. We have the setup is really nice at the Nightmare Factory as well. I want to get all my notes out before I move on. The Nightmare Factory looked really dope, you guys, having that the AEW Dynamite setup. They show a Matt Hardy and Jericho flashback. We're seeing the graphics. We're seeing the utilization of Matt Hardy and technology being used at AEW Dynamite. It's really fun. It's really playful. The pyro being used. I'm loving everything about this. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how they advance the rivalry between these two, because I'm calling the rivalry at this point, and how entertaining and refreshing, surprisingly, it's been for the two veterans. We had a women's matchup, and I'm just going to say this before I go into it, and there's no disrespect, and it may come across that, but AEW has one of the worst women's division out of the entire wrestling organization right now. And actually, they don't. That's Ring of Honor to me right now. But I love WWE's, of course. Impact Wrestling's is freaking amazing. AEW, come on, y'all. Y'all got to step it up. And I know y'all just heard that Kylie Ray just signed with Impact Wrestling. I'm glad that I don't have to hold that from my mouth anymore, because, it's, I was at that show. So I'm glad that I don't have to, like, tiptoe around that. But, yeah. And if you guys didn't know, Kylie Ray left AEW, one of the first signees for Impact. Whew. That's interesting. I can't wait till she starts talking about that. But the women's matchup consists of Hikaru Shida. I feel like I'm butchering that name. And I was hearing it all during AEW, and I wanted to make sure I got it right for the video. But y'all know who I'm talking about. She won a past 6 or 7 matches. She went against what they're saying is a local competitor. I was asking my timeline was she signed or not. They're kind of saying she's not. Her name is Anna Jay, who was very sassy, and they actually gave this match some time. If I'm not mistaken, it went on at least for 10 minutes or close to it. Anna Jay held her own. I thought that, to be honest, she couldn't wrestle at first. Like, I was like, she can't wrestle. This is going to be quick. This is going to be a squash. This is going to be somebody we don't know versus somebody that's on a roll. No, that wasn't the case. She got her licks in. She got her works in. It went on the outside. It came back in. It was a wrestling matchup. I was entertained, to be honest. I felt like it did last a little bit too much longer from my attention span. But I am glad that Anna Jay got the opportunity to go that long, and it wasn't just a squash, and that it was a competitive matchup, and it really displays that, hey, I do think the women's division isn't any good, but hey, this is entertaining. Some of the takeaways from this matchup is that Hikaru was struggling at some point. Shout out to Anna Jay once again, and Britt Baker was at ringside for this, taunting her, because, they had the history with the teeth and all that when Britt Baker turned into a bad woman against her. And Britt and Hikaru got into an altercation after the matchup, after Hikaru got the win, of course. Of course she was going to win. Britt and her got into it, and Britt just made me really hungry for some Chick-fil-A. You're my Chick-fil-A. Close on Sunday. You're my Chick-fil-A. Raise your daughters. Okay, I'm done with that. But how many of you guys like Chick-fil-A? Was it just me that got hungry when the Chick-fil-A took place? Maybe I love me some Chick-fil-A, and then they're in Georgia. I already know which Chick-fil-A they went to in Norcross. Okay, so moving along into the show, we had a flashback of Jon Moxley and Jack Hager that's going to be happening in 2 weeks, a no-hold bar. And of course, it's going to be an empty arena matchup for the AEW World Championship, Blake Platinum, as Cody Rhodes like to call it. I'm excited for this one. I don't see Jack Hager winning it for early predictions, but the build-up for this one has been interesting and will give Jon Moxley some accreditations as a champion, especially as a defense. So shout out to Jon Moxley, because one of the things that I did want to say about Jon Moxley AEW World Championship reign is actually strangely reminding me of the WWE Championship reign he had as Dean Ambrose. It's nothing spectacular, and you guys can blame it on no crowd and the circumstances. But to me personally, it's still nothing spectacular, but it's still good to me. Let me guys know what you guys think about Jon Moxley's title reign so far. And you guys could say that, hey, we don't have enough time, experience, circumstances, and everything. But when you're a good champion, you know. Jericho basically did nothing, and he was one of the greatest AEW World Champions from day one. From day one, just the way he presented himself with a little bubbly with the championship. He just gave off champion vibes, champion aura. So you know when you know, you guys. Let me guys know below what you guys think about Jon Moxley as the AEW World Champion so far. Moving along into the show, we had Jake the Snake Roberts. Shout out to Jake the Snake Roberts. Check out my interview that I have with Jake the Snake Roberts on this page. I'm going to put the link right there. And you guys can enjoy that interview. Really great guy. The way he talks is kind of like the way he talks in real life too, which is funny. He is behind the man Lance Archer, who finally made his debut tonight in AEW Wrestling. Highly anticipated, not getting the opportunity to take on Cody Rhodes first, but they are in a tournament together, you guys. So who knows if they're going to meet down the line in the final, because that's the only way they'll be able to meet is if they meet in the finals, because they're on two separate brackets from one another. Lance Archer makes his debut against Marco Stunt. My condolences to Marco Stunt and his family. Sometimes you just need to work under these extreme pressures of COVID-19. I don't know so much about that, but I definitely am glad that Marco Stunt was able to take his mind off of things. If you guys been following his Twitter, he lost his grandmother, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I'm not wrong, but from what I'm seeing, I definitely want to send my prayers and thoughts with Marco Stunt and the Stunt family. Now, that don't defeat the fact that Lance Archer was out to kill everyone, you guys. He literally killed the utility man as he was walking to the ring, you guys. That's just how intense it was when Lance Archer was coming to the ring. I recently saw him at a New Japan Pro Wrestling show in Atlanta a few months, and he was literally just throwing this one guy all around the arena. So Marco Stunt was no exception, you guys. A lot of people are complaining on the internet. This match isn't serious. How can we take Marco Stunt? The realism, I hate it. I can't stand it. Lance Archer killed Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt is dead. Did you ever want to see a dead body? Like, that is what Lance Archer did to Marco Stunt this evening before his debut. And the icing on the freaking cake after Lance Archer scored this big-time win against Marco Stunt for his debut. It did last a little bit longer than I wanted it and expected it. He chokeslammed Marco Stunt into the crowd, and boom, it was over, you guys. That chokeslam where he sent him halfway across the building, like goozled him, and just thrust him like he was in like one of them contests where you have to throw the little 100-pound. He just tossed Marco Stunt. He tossed him. Marco Stunt, I hope you're okay. I seen them kind of carrying you towards the end, but I hope that you're okay, Marco. I really do. Moving along into the show, we have Brodie Lee backstage promo, the Exalted One who was revealed. Someone called him the wrong name, and he was instantly upset. And I really enjoyed this backstage promo. I enjoyed the production. I enjoyed what Brodie Lee was giving off as the Exalted One. I wasn't, to be honest, thrilled, now this is finally the moment where I am thrilled to see how he reacted to somebody yawning, saying, "Are you tired?" He's really feeling like the leader to me. He's really feeling like the exalted one and it's interesting because I had this thought of what the exalted one be, and Brodie Lee is kind of creating it for me. Like any expectations, it isn't a bad thing that it's different, but he's just literally creating this exalted character from within. So I'm really enjoying Brodie Lee right now, and a lot of people are saying that he is being a parody of Vince McMahon, and that he may have a slick obsession with Vince McMahon because of the release and the things that they went through over the past few years. My best advice to Brodie Lee is let it go, to be honest. I could definitely see Brodie Lee back in the WWE one day. Not to say that things won't work out in AEW, but just let it go. Like, just focus on the wrestling. There's been so many athletes that have done that, has been bitter and showcased himself. Vince is Vince at this point. We saw Vince. He's Vince. Let it go, Brodie Lee. Don't become one of those people. But if you wasn't being Vince, I was fairly entertained by that backstage promo, and it makes you want to tune into All Elite Wrestling Dynamite as a whole moving forward. From there, we transition into the Dark Order in a tag team matchup. Dark Order 8 and 9, and everybody's kind of like, where's 10, 11, 5 and 6, and everything. So I don't know if 8 and 9 was the two that the Exalted one was talking to backstage. I would assume so, to be honest. And they took on the Natural Nightmares, the team of QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes, accompanied by Brandy Rose. Apparently, they're undefeated from what I'm being told. So this match wasn't nothing special. It was like a tag team jobber matchup that actually went a little bit longer than I wanted and a little bit more competitive. It kind of disengaged me personally because I don't know who 8 and 9 is. So it kind of like felt like a jobber matchup. But it was still nice to see QT Marshall in the ring. Huge fan of him. I've been knowing him for a few years now. He's a really nice guy. Great wrestler. So it's always good to see him get his shine and to get his dues as he continued to raise us up. And he declined joining the Dark Order by throwing the t-shirt and just going in on the Dark Order members. The Dark Order end up getting the win after Dustin getting a hot tag and scoring the pinfall victory. So shout outs to the Natural Nightmares on continuing their undefeated streak. And the Exalted one came out, looked up and down at Dustin. That'll be a pretty good matchup in the future, to be honest. What do you guys think about the Exalted one versus Dustin Rhodes in the future? That's a nice matchup. But he ended up giving a smooth powerbomb right in the ring to send a message to, I don't know if that was 8 or 9. Let me guys know if you guys know which one that was. I'm going to go with 9. 9 looked like, I don't think it was 9 that took the power bomb and ended up being made example of, while 8 looked in the corner like, somebody had to pay for you guys losing that matchup to you guys. This was one of my favorite moments of the entire show. We had Chris Jericho at home with a little bit of bubbly in his jacuzzi at his mansion home. It's April Fool's Day, a holiday that Jericho enjoys. The drone is weighing over Jericho right now, over the palace as he talks. Vanguard is becoming a true character. Vanguard versus Chris Jericho. Book it at this point, you guys. It is so interesting. It's so much fun. Jericho said, "I knew you. Come, Vanguard." Had the shirt ready for him. Put the hanger on the drone. The drone is declining, leaving out. Jericho says, "Brings the house." Jericho was 100% A1. What Matt Hardy is doing, what Jericho is doing. Let me guys know what you guys think of. The House is coming. Vanguard versus Jericho rivalry is becoming one of the best things in pro wrestling. Quote me on that. Quote me on that. Like, it's really building to be something special right before our eyes. We get another great promo, in my opinion. We see Nick Jackson, who's a little shaken up since his assault where he was written off TV. And I think that it was probably seriously a legitimate injury, you guys. His family was practicing social distances as they had a ring kind of in the tennis court as they looked very good and very sharp in the ring. And it seems like Nick Jackson still isn't ready to come back to the ring yet. They do an incredible job telling stories, which gets you invested into the show, which gets you invested into the matchup, you guys. Whatever story Nick Jackson and his brother Matt is about to tell, they have already sold me from the visuals, from the discussion. Basically, these men can act. That's all this really is. They can act their butts off at this point, and I feel like they're great wrestlers, but they're also great actors as well. It's time for the main event. Sammy Guevara teaming up with Shawn Spears versus Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes in the main event tag team matchup. All 4 athletes will be participating into the TNT inaugural championship. This matchup was really good, you guys. I still can't believe Cody Rhodes have a neck tattoo, but it is growing on me, believe it or not. I guess I'm in cahoots with Brandy. It's growing on me. I'm getting used to it. The money in the ring during the gambling was probably far one of my favorite moments of the night. It was really fun to see AEW do things like that you usually wouldn't see on WWE and the usual wrestling that we watch. Shawn Spears and Sammy like gambling, who could hold up Darby the longest. That was one of my favorite parts. In the ring barrier, they had the heels, Jimmy Havoc, Kip Sabian, and all of them attacking Cody Rhodes. That was really fun to see as well. And one of my favorite moments of the matchups is where Darby climbed the pole and did a coffin drop on his opponents. That was really great as well. The match ended in controversial fashion as always, as Shawn Spears got a chair, and then Darby blocked it, and then getting his tights pulled after trying to save Cody for the 3 count. And that didn't sit well with Darby Allin post matchup because he got in Cody's face, you guys. And it was not pretty. It was not ugly. Which had people saying that Darby turned heels. AEW is known for being tweeners and not really caring about faces and heels and blurring the lines, as Cody always said. So you guys, let me know what you thought about that crazy ending that AEW Dynamite had between Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin, you guys, where ultimately it cost him the matchup. You guys, that miscommunication, they don't have to be friends. Darby isn't a part of the Elite, you guys. So you guys, let me know what you guys thought about that ending and the entire episode of AEW Dynamite. Join some friends, share this video, you guys. Be sure to comment, and let's create a discussion about this past episode. I'm going to catch you guys later on another exciting edition of Jeffrey Show Live.